Now there are three types of cars. Cars you absolutely love, cars you absolutely hate, and cars that realistically fit within your budget. So this is what I bought, a 2010 Porsche Cayman S. Now, without knowing anything about these cars, I actually made a bit of a mistake right from the get-go. After winning the bids on this Copart, I thought, yeah, bargain. Did all my research, or what I thought was enough research. Figured out the parts, headlights 250 quid maybe, the front wing 250 quid, same with the bumper. One thing I didn't realise at all, not knowing Porsches, is that during recession, the 987, they did a Mark II, a facelift version, and they were very rare. They were only around for a few years, and obviously during recession, I think worldwide Porsche sold 6,000 of them or just over, which probably means there's only a few hundred of them in England, which definitely means you cannot find parts anywhere for them. Now, I didn't realise just how different these cars were between the pre-facelift and the Gen 2, they call it. The headlights, the bumpers, the actual engine itself's completely different, absolutely everything, and you just cannot find the parts anywhere. And if you can, they're at a real premium. So in this video we're going to be battling to get this car back together. Once we find parts, we're going to end up waiting for parts. And in this video I'm going to take on the entire project myself. I'm not going to pass off any part of this build to anyone else apart from one, the windscreen, because I just don't have the tools to do it, and I know there's a lot of programming and stuff involved in these windscreens on the Porsches, the sensors and auto dimming mirrors and stuff like that, so we'll just get that done by somebody else. And the dashboard's going to have to be repaired. I think that's something else that I just can't do. So we'll have to send that off, but other than that I'm going to take on this entire project on my own, painting it, repairing it, straightening it, any welding that needs doing, absolutely anything. So the very first thing is just to give the car a quick wash, just to see what we've got to deal with. Obviously when you get these cars, they've been in a compound for quite a while, so they're absolutely filthy. Giving them a wash just shows you what the paint works like, things like that. So while we get it up in the air, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Basically, this car I won off auction for £7,300. Now, the Copart said it was worth 22, and I thought, wow, that really makes a difference if you've got low mileage, because this has only done 56,000. But as I mentioned, it's because it's a Gen 2. Right, now we've got the car in the air. The very first thing I'm going to do, which I always do, is give it a service. Now, it's been running a couple of times and it seems to run fine, but with an engine like this, you're just not going to risk it. So I've got some 040 Mobil 1 air filter and oil filter, so we're going to get that in first and then have a look at some of this damage. Now don't ask me what my camera's doing here, it's deciding not to focus at all. So that's the service done, all nicely running. Obviously we can't leave this running for too long because we know there's absolutely no coolant in it. Well, I was this morning going to start taking the front end off and all the damaged parts, but I've just had a call from the airbag team and these guys have been great. They kind of quoted me and arranged for a replacement dashboard, all the airbags, the seat belts reset and everything like that. But when it came down to it, I did sort of say to them, this is quite a rare model, this Porsche, so it turns out you just can't get the dashboard. It's got a stitch in it that follows on like down through the centre console, and I want to keep that. I don't want to just get a dashboard that's similar. I want this right. So the guys at the airbag team have said, yeah, alright, fair enough, bring your dashboard in and we'll send it off to be fixed, but it's going to take a couple of weeks, so I'm going to have to make that a bit of a priority today because I don't want to be waiting around for things like that. I've done the service on it, the car starts and runs fine, but I don't want to have it so that it can't run for long. So first things first, I'm going to have to tackle this dashboard. I've never done one before, I'm dreading it, but yeah, we're just going to have to get stuck into it and see if we can get this dash out, get the seat belts off, get them to the airbag team, and then hopefully within a couple of weeks I'll have it all back ready to put back in and work. That was genuinely probably the worst job I've ever had to do in my life. I can see why the YouTubers have such a paddy about these dashboards now. I've never seen so many screws. There's probably about 80 screws hold this thing in. It's taken 4 hours, but it's out, which is good. So we can send it off now to get fixed. Now we just need to get these seat belts out, which I'm hoping is going to be a little bit easier. Right, it's time to take the seat belts out now because I'm going to get them sent off as well, because when you crash they use like an explosive inside and they grip up and lock. So that's locked out, that's clearly gone off. But this one, it hasn't locked out, which is strange, but I'm going to send them both off anyway because I want to change the colour of the actual belt itself. So there's going to be an awful lot of panels and stuff here to take off. We're just going to have to find all the fixings and try to figure it out. And then once they're out, dashboard and the seat belts can go off and all the airbags can come back in place, then the dashboard's sewn up. Yeah. Now, because this car's mid-engined, all that's around this kind of bulkhead area, it's like a firewall, is just a lot of insulation and plastic panels. I expected it to be a bit of a nightmare to get near the seat belts themselves, but to be quite honest, it were about 5 Torx heads and the panels came away. A lot of them just pulled off, to be fair, the engine acoustics. It were all going well until this happened. I popped off the electrical connector for the airbag and it literally just disintegrated in my hand. Now, it clearly worked because it locked this airbag out. I don't know whether that causes some heat or whatever and that made it fail, but either way, that's never going to work again. So, add it to the parts list, the ever-growing parts list. Once we've got all the covers off, it's just a case of unbolting the main strap from the chassis of the car at the bottom with a 19mm bolt. Once that's out, you just slide the fabric with the actual belt buckle through the restraint arms of the car, and then repeat the process at the other side. But when I did the other side, I found this, which is a bit naughty. No wonder this side airbag didn't go off. It's been linked out. I don't know whether it had a fault or whatever, but it's yeah, it's a bit naughty, that. Right, now the airbags are out and the dash is out and the seat belts are out, I can start working on the front of the car, see where the damage really is, what's underneath that nasty looking bumper, and what we need to order. I really don't think that headlight's ever going to work again. Big hole in the radiator. That aircon radiator's absolutely had it as well. And see the good old Copart cable ties going out round the outside of the bumper. That's just for the headlight squirt as well. There's definitely a bit of damage there. And it looks to me like it's ripped the bolt out of the bottom of the tub. But that shouldn't be a big problem, that, to be honest. So we'll strip it down. So we need to take this radiator pack off and the air conditioning condensing radiator, but we know there's no coolant in it because there's a big bloody hole in that radiator, so that's fine to come off, there's nothing in it. But this, I'm not sure if it's still got gas in it, so I'm just going to check that quickly before we take that off, because you don't want that in your face, definitely not the gas that's inside there. So we'll check that before we take it off. It doesn't look like these pipes are punctured, but I don't know, it's an easy way to test it anyway, so I'll do that now. No, there's no pressure in there at all. Another one there. No, it's empty. So there must be a hole in that radiator or in one of them pipes, so we'll try and find that. So we've got the old radiator on the bench just to have a little look at just how badly damaged it is, and it's not just the radiator, it's the radiator carrier as well, and the tub, unfortunately. Now it is fixable, it's not even going to be a hard fix, but it's I'll show you. You can see there, it's had a bit of a hard day. Same there. I mean, that's irrelevant, obviously it's getting a new radiator, but fan shrouds all split, bits missing. That sounded like it were catching, so that's gonna have to go. It's all cracked, and the carrier bracket's all bent up as well. But this is where it bolts onto the tub, and it's ripped the nut out of the chassis. So we're gonna have to get the welder out and get that sorted. It's not a big problem, but it's just a problem that I didn't really want to have to do. I didn't want to have to start welding this car, but just welding that back in's no biggie. So right, the next thing to deal with would be this cross member at the front. Now it's been pushed back slightly. I think once the crash bar itself had snapped and then pushed back on impact, it kind of went into this cross member and just bent it a little bit. Now it's not bad, but it does need pulling straight, so we're going to try to figure out a way to do that now. I've been racking my brains out to pull this little dent out of this front panel, and I think I've come up with something. It's a bit of a jerry rig, but it's actually working. I've had a little play with it. It is pulling the dent out of it that's caused by the crash bar that hit it. It's a totally jerry rigged setup, but it's working, which is all that matters, to be fair. I'm going to have to keep moving the chain from bolt hole to basically anywhere where I can get purchase on the bar itself and pull it straight, but it is pulling straight, surprisingly. So this, as ridiculous as it looks, actually proved to be an extremely good idea. And notice the reuse of the old Copart tyre wraps there. Now this, if you've seen the BMW video before this, with the engine lift that I used to repair the engine of the BMW X1, and the lifting capability of this strong arm is absolutely ridiculous. It very, very easily pulled this cross member straight. It took a bit of jiggling around to get it to stop slipping around and actually stay still, but yeah, it certainly pulled it straight again. Granted, it's not the prettiest repair, but who cares? It's never going to be seen. The main thing is that it's straight. And then obviously it gets a little bit of etch primer just to stop it rusting. Then there's just a few support mountings for the bumper and the wing that needs straightening up slightly. Now all I'm doing is just basically straightening them somewhat at the moment, and then once the new parts arrive, then I can fine tune it all and get it to perfection. But for now, just bend it back something like, protect it with edge primer, and wait for some parts. Now thank you to everyone who stayed watching right till the end. I really hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it and actually working on this car. Now in the next video I'm going to give you a little tiny sneak peek of what's to come in a second, but the next video I'm going to be having a bit of a nightmare with some second-hand parts. More of a nightmare trying to get hold of some brand new parts, and we're going to start tackling the paint on the vehicle. So with a bit of luck, you'll come back and watch the next video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and cheers guys, see you next time.